thank you for your time today, and apologies from my side also for this delay. So I'll quickly come to the March numbers. For the industry, the March numbers were 370,381. This compares very well with the previous year, which was 336,566, growth of 10%. So March wholesale growth is 10%. For Maruti Suzuki, the number 152,718 against 132,763 of last year. That's a growth of 15%. So Maruti Suzuki's growth is 15% in March. The competition growth is 6.8%, and overall in the industry, they just mentioned, is 10%. Because Maruti Suzuki grew faster than the industry, the market share for Maruti Suzuki in March increased over last year by almost 2%. In the industry, the retail was a little muted compared with the wholesale, still at a very high and very good level. So 360,600 was the retail, expected retail, that's an estimate, because this is basis the information sharing amongst all manufacturers. 360,600 almost against 350,224 of last year. That's a growth of 3% over last year. So there was therefore the addition of about 10,000 or 11,000 of stock levels. So the stock level has now reached about, in the industry, 309,000 units or 310,000 units. Remember, we started the year with about 210,000 or so of inventory. So there's a difference of about a lakh or so. So I will, this is by the way the highest ever March that we have seen. And interestingly, this is the 15th straight month of the highest ever monthly number. And for those interested in more statistics, this is the 21st month out of the last 22 months that have been the highest ever monthly sales numbers. For the cumulatively for the year, wholesale were at 42.3 lakh. So 42 lakh 29,566. This is the total industry for passenger vehicle in the financial year 23-24, and is a 8.7% growth over 38 lakh 90,000 units of last year. So last year was 38.9 lakhs. This year 42.3 lakhs, growth of 8.7%. Maruti Suzuki's number overall you would have seen, including the Super Carry, 17 lakh 93,644 against 16 lakh 44,876 of last year. So the Maruti's growth is actually 9.5% for passenger vehicle against industry growth of 8.7%. Therefore, Maruti gained market share of about 0.4% over last year. The industry retail, as it was just mentioning, is 41 lakh 32,000. Figure accurately predicted by one of you here in her article today. 4132 against previous wholesale, against the wholesale number of 4229. As I said, that is the increase in stock level starting from 1st April when the stock was about 210,000 in the industry, now close to 309,000. So normally when this happens, these are very large volumes. Remember, this is the first time the industry has crossed the 4 million mark ever in the passenger vehicle. This also makes it the third largest passenger vehicle market in the world, overtaking Japan, and we did overtake Germany a year back. These are also, by the way, the highest ever Maruti Suzuki sales. The previous highest was in 18-19, which was 17 lakh 53,000. This year we have clocked 17 lakh 93,644. So there was another big milestone. We could achieve the 2 million mark for Maruti Suzuki domestic plus exports plus the OEM. As Rahul will give you more details, is the highest ever export also at around 2.83 lakhs. We also saw Nexa sale about 560,000. First time we breached the 500,000 mark. Actually, the first time we reached the 400,000 mark as well. So the growth for Nexa was about 52% in the year, making it the fastest growing channel this year. A couple of good things which we observe and probably we always mention in our end of the month sales figures. Out of the top in the year, out of the top 10 models, 6 were from Maruti Suzuki. But interestingly, out of the top 15 models, for the first time ever, 10 were Maruti Suzuki models. And each of those models had sale of more than 1 lakh unit. This is also something which has happened uniquely for Maruti Suzuki, in fact for the industry. The construct of the market is clearly at the moment in favor of SUVs. So if you look at SUV, the total contribution of SUV for the whole year is 50.4%, hatches is 28%, sedan is 9%, MPVs are 9.3%, and vans at 3.5%. So you would have seen that much of the growth which has happened in this year has happened in the SUV segment. The SUV segment grown 28%, hatches has declined by 12%, sedans have declined 6%, and MPVs have grown 19%, as also the vans which have grown about 6.5%. So much of the growth has actually been fueled by SUVs and the MPV. Our market share in SUV was pretty good. It increased from about 11% last year to 21% this year. And of course, of the total sale of Maruti Suzuki, 25% or 25.5% is now SUV sale. So that is very positive for Maruti Suzuki and has contributed to the increase in the market share. As you may be remembering, we have launched the Fronx, the Jimny and the Invicto this year, and also the this was also the first full year of Grand Vitara sale. Grand Vitara was introduced in September of last year. Fronx has done very well. It's the fastest to the 1 lakh ever in 10 months time. By the way, Grand Vitara was the fastest to 1 lakh mid SUV segment as well. Rural sale also this year at 7.87 lakh. Rural growth actually has been much better than urban growth. Rural growth for the year is about 11%, and urban growth is about 7%. So this is also the highest ever rural sales that we saw, which is also should be very good signal for the economy. Also in the pre-owned business, we saw very good traction. Pre-owned business now back to the old levels, pre-COVID levels. In fact, much excess of that. The highest we got to was 4.2 lakh earlier, and now we have crossed the 4.8 lakh numbers for pre-owned cars. So that's also the that actually makes True Value the 5th largest automotive brand in the country, just behind Nexa and Maruti Suzuki, of course. A couple of other things which we normally not report, but it looks at Maruti Suzuki insurance. The insurance premium has crossed the 11,000 crore. So this is the first time we have crossed the 10,000 crore MI business. And also Maruti Suzuki subscription business crossed the 10,000 figure. So this is these are some of the highlights. The number 1 brand is WagonR, and the only brand with 200,000 plus sales in the country. Top 3 models are from Maruti Suzuki. 4 out of the top 5 are also from Maruti Suzuki. 10 out of 15 I have already mentioned. In terms of powertrain, the powertrain for CNG took a very good, has a very good increase. Actually, the industry penetration is now 15%. For Maruti Suzuki, the penetration is 26% for CNG. Diesel declined a little bit to 17.9%, and electric is at about 2.3%. Hybrids are at 2.1%. But last 6 months, hybrids have actually outsold the EVs. The EV is falling just short of 100,000 mark, or 29,000 in this year, and hybrids at around 89,500 or so.